Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the PSGL YouTube channel. Now it is the turn of the F7 League to take centre stage for round number 13 around the Circuit of the Americas here in Austin, Texas. My name is Jake and I hope you're all having a fantastic evening. PSGL is sponsored by Brutal Democracy, an esports organisation providing £250 worth of prize money across the top 3 tiers, so as always a massive thank you to them for their continued support. Before we get stuck into tonight's action, which of course qualifying will be beginning, well, right about now actually, so we should be getting some cars out on the track very shortly. We're just going to quickly, before that though, just have a quick recap on what happened last week. So last time out in F7, we raced at the PSGL Villeneuve as Juice made it 4 wins from 6 races with another superb performance. Meanwhile, TNR Jonis got his championship bid firmly back on track with a very strong second place, while Rowan took third to take only his second podium of the season. Championship contenders Game Freaker and Powdy saw their hopes fade slightly, with Powdy 5th and Game Freaker only down in 9th. In terms of how the results at Canada have affected the championship, we have currently got TNR Jonis, who has a 12-point lead over Juice, who has now climbed up to 2nd following his meteoric rise since joining Formula 7. Here at PSGL, Game Freaker slips to 3rd and is now 17 points adrift with 2 rounds to go, with Powdy's hopes pretty much almost extinguished now as he is 22 points behind, with of course only 34 left on the table. Meanwhile, McLaren have stretched their constructors lead to 12 points over their new nearest challengers Williams, who picked up 16 points last time out. And Mercedes and Renault are tied for 3rd, but are very much still in contention for that title too, as they're just 19 points behind the leaders, with today and Brazil still remaining. And coming on to our venue for tonight, for the penultimate round of Season 26, we are of course racing here at the Circuit of the Americas, a track that was opened in 2012 and has become the permanent home that the United States have needed in F1 for a very long time. And it is one of the more popular Herman Tilke design tracks. Of course, some of his tracks do come in for a lot of criticism, but this one is very different, I would say, to the layout of a lot of other tracks that he's designed. The circuit features 20 corners, 11 to the left and 9 to the right, and is actually one of the few counterclockwise tracks on the calendar, which of course places a greater strain on the front right tyres as opposed to the front lefts, which usually come under the most stress at the majority of circuits that we go to. The lap record was set by Charles Leclerc in 2019 on a 136.169, and with 2 DRS zones, first down the pit straight and then after turn 11, expect drama and overtakes galore here in PSGL F7 tonight. And we've got Juice, one of the championship contenders, starting his first lap of the session now. He breaks into a very tricky uphill turn 1. So yeah, Jonis of course can seal the championship tonight. I won't go too much into the championship permutations because believe you me, they are very complicated. But I'll go through a simple one. If Jonis wins the race tonight and Juice is 3rd or lower, Jonis will be champion. Fastest lap point depending, of course. But there's nothing Game Freaker and Powdy can do if Jonis wins. It's all down to Juice. If Juice finishes 2nd, then it goes to Brazil. Of course, if more of the complicated permutations come into impact later on this evening, I will bring those into it as well, but we'll try and keep it as simple as possible for now, because otherwise I think even I'll confuse myself. We've got 15 drivers here tonight. We should be getting a 16th because Steph is on their way. They're expected to join through qualifying, so we will have 16 cars for the race. I'm just about to see here what Juice manages through the last few corners then. He has had such a good season since joining F7, and he's become an unlikely championship contender. Few would have expected it, as he's only done for 6 races, but he's already set the benchmark time for 1:30.0, which is 7 tenths quicker than his nearest championship contender, so that's already a very good benchmark set. As you can see there, that's Prime Vizu getting held up slightly by Rowan on his lap. Vizu goes into 4th place. Game Freaker has now popped it onto the front row into 2nd. So we're already getting quite a few laps in here. And let's see what Powdy can do as he goes round the final corner. Someone who's, I reckon, probably struggled in qualifying more than most. But Powdy has put it into third, meaning all the 4 championship contenders are in the top 4 at the moment. But it is Juice with the early advantage of 30 flat. Jonas with some work to do at its early part of the qualifying session. Let's see who else we've got on a lap. Should have Vapor King. Going to follow him round in a Haas. He hasn't had the season he would have hoped for, really, I would say. Only 24 points. 2 podiums he's had across the season, but other than that, he's really struggled for results. And he's in fact invalidated his first lap, so he will have to go again on that one. Is Patuka going for a lap? We'll stay on board with him to have a look. Sets it up very nicely for the race, having all 4 championship contenders at the front, but there is a long way to go, of course. Tucker is, of course, one driver who potentially could do some damage, but again, Mercedes' constructors bid has kind of been put on hold due to AMS as, well, not really being at the last few races, and I believe he's ill tonight, so unfortunately that does kind of mean Mercedes are it's very likely they will not be constructors champions now. Tucker's impressed me with his pace since joining the league. He just maybe struggled for consistency at times, but he pops it onto the front row of the grid. And of course for Juice, who starts 12 points behind Jonas, the more people between him and his championship rival, the better for him. He'll of course be hoping to take the championship to Brazil, into Lagos next week, the scene of many a classic championship decider, and I wouldn't be surprised if we got another one there here in F7. We'll follow Hulkenberg around. He went out to track a little bit earlier than some of the others, but he has invalidated the lap, so... But we'll stay on board and just see if he goes onto another lap, because we haven't really got too many other cars out on track at the moment. And Hulkenberg, is he going to wind up for another one, or is he going to bring it back into the pits? We've already seen with Patuka, it's very much possible to do a second flying lap if you invalidate the first. We've also got Norris out on track as well in the Red Bull. Now Hulkenberg, actually, you could argue, is the unluckiest driver on the grid in F7 in terms of not having a podium. And the only reason I say that is because he actually had 3 4th place finishes, but he's yet to stand on the podium. 3 4th place finishes are his best results of the season so far. One of them, of course, was at Canada last time out, where I believe he crossed the line either 8th or 9th, but due to a lack of penalties, moved up to 4th place, which just shows how crucial it is to avoid penalties. Maybe not as crucial here as it would be at Canada, but even so, it is still a track where it's very easy to corner cut. And Hulk did go for another lap, I believe, but has also invalidated this one, so we'll switch our attention to Norris, who has kind of struggled for outright pace in this league, I would say, since joining. He always seems to be around the tail end of the field. He'll be hoping to change that this evening. Maybe a lack of preparation, or maybe just struggling for pace, or maybe the pressure as well. That can always get to drivers. But for one reason or another, it just hasn't clicked yet for him in F7. Maybe tonight's the night that changes. Of course, we should also give a shout out to Frunky, our admin for F7, and has been for most of the season. And he's actually making a one-off return tonight. He has been reserved for the league for a while, but hasn't really been available. Of course, you may remember he actually won the season opener way back now. We're talking a few months ago now, as Norris pops it into 9th. But yeah, he's back for tonight. He did the first 5 races, won the opening race, of course, where I sort of cheekily mentioned to him, you know, you're thinking about a title bid, and of course that's when he told me he would only be doing the first sort of 5 races. But nevertheless, it's good to have him back tonight, and hopefully he can go well. We've seen already he's got plenty of pace. He's not too happy about the track, but we'll see if he can get some points. And of course, he's back in the AlphaTauri, which was the car he actually raced in earlier on the season, so it's a nice little bit of nostalgia there as well. As Jonas invalidates his lap. He was going faster for the first sector, but it won't count for anything. I don't know how much he lifted off before the end of the first sector, but nevertheless, he was going quicker. I believe, I'm trying to see who we got. I think Cam started a lap quite a while ago. So we're going to follow Cam round. He's 3 tenths up. Wow, he's 9 tenths up on his previous effort. So if he can keep this going, he's looking at getting on the first few rows here. Which would be a great effort for Cam. Through the final sector now. Pretty easy flat in these cars. I don't think there's any danger of that. Runs all the curb on the exit, now braking into the last corner. I've got to say, this looks very good from Cam. Across the line he goes, and he goes on to pole position. That's a fantastic effort from Cam, a 1:29.6, and that's going to get a few people sitting up and talking. I would say that's probably come out of nowhere, really. We've got Juice, who is on a lap. Oh, he's invalidated around the last few corners, so that won't do anything for him. We've got Powdy on a lap, which looks like it's going quicker then. So we'll stay on board with him to see what he can do. So that's not a driver I'd have really expected to see up there. Of course, Cam has only had a couple of races in the league. But obviously been putting the hard work in for this week, because that's a great lap time. That's going to take some beating. Obviously, the track will rubber in, of course, so that will help. Powdy improves to 3rd on a 30.1. This is by far and away Powdy's strongest qualifying session I've seen from him in a long time. So that bodes well for his race. We know how good he is at avoiding penalties and ultimately calling good strategies. As Steph does indeed join, so we are now up to the amount of drivers that we were expecting. We're up to 16 drivers, which is great news. Frunky has put it off the road. Don't know what's happening there, but he's made a mistake somewhere. Trying to see if we've got anybody on a lap right now. It's like Game Freak is pushing, so we'll stay on board Game Freaker. In terms of our championship contenders, then Juice 2nd, Powdy 3rd, Game Freaker 6th. John is down in 10th at the moment. He's the one, who, of course, who can wrap it up this evening. So he'll need to find a bit more than that when he comes back out on track. I'm sure he will. And will Steph be able to? Steph should be able to get a lap or two in here. So we'll see what they can do as well. We've got just under 6 minutes left. It's very overcast, this qualifying session, which I imagine is helping with the tyres, because they sometimes can overheat, especially the soft tyres around here. Especially for those that are using pads rather than wheels. It's a lot easier to control tyre temperature on the wheel. Is Game Freaker going to complete the lap? It looks like he is, so he's obviously expecting to improve. He went a little bit wide there. Oh, but he does improve. He goes up to 4th. Was he running out of fuel there? I think he was, you know, so there's more time in there for him for sure. But he moves up to 4th for now. Just trying to see if we've got anybody else on a lap. Hulkenberger is the one who we've got here around the final corner for the McLaren driver. And across the line he goes to put himself up into 9th place. Not too bad at all. Of course, Hulkenberger's main ambition now will be to win the Constructors' title. With his teammate Game Freaker, they've got the advantage at the moment. And maybe for a personal standpoint, he would like to step on the podium one time this season. Like I said, he's been really close on other occasions. In fact, the McLarens are pretty much only 2 out on track, although we have got Patuka as well, so I'm going to follow Patuka on board, who is just on his out lap. I'll quickly switch to the broadcast cam as well, just to get a nice overview of this circuit, this wonderful venue here in Austin. And yeah, Cam's lap was absolutely superb. A bit unexpected, but just shows anyone on their day can really produce that sort of lap. And I don't think Jonas will mind that one bit, having somebody in front of Juice, because the last thing he wants is Juice to just be on pole. And we've seen already he's very good at just driving away into the distance when he is the quickest driver. So it's not something that will phase him being in that position. And of course Jonas is back out on track now. Steph is on a lap as well. So in fact I will actually go to Steph first, see what they're doing on their opening lap. I don't think they're on a lap. I don't know what that's all about. The game must have been lying to me. But anyway, Patuka is on a lap. Is Game Freaker going for another lap? No, he's just doing a very slow in lap. Yeah, we're going back on board with Mercedes driver through his first sector. Probably the sector where it's most easy to get a corner cutting warning if you're not too careful. Tucker is marginally quicker through sector 1, not too much in it. Running it right to the exit, the curve there, you've got to be so careful. Hello Kev, good to have you in the stream. All the best for F5 tomorrow. I'll be with Felix for that one, so I'm looking forward to that race as well. Another division where we could crown a champion, but it's very unlikely that we'll get a champion crowned F5 tomorrow due to how close it is at the front. It's also pretty unlikely here as well, but it could happen. We've got Patuka just making his way through sector 2. He's a 10th up on what he did previously, so he's looking at moving up here, providing this final sector all goes according to plan. And it's really just about the last couple of corners now, really, that can make or break your lap. You've got to be so committed into there, but also know if you run too wide, it ruins your lap. He's a bit wide through the final corner, but he's held it together and moves up into 3rd place on a 30 flat. That's a nice lap indeed, and now I think we're going to go on board with Jonas because this is crucial for him. The last thing he can afford to do is start where he is right now. He's a 10th up through the first sector, so he's improving. Had a slight correction of oversteer coming onto this long straight. Of course, now braking for turn 12. There's a car up ahead of him. I don't know who that is or if we're on a lap. So try to see if I can see through the mini-map here who that is. It looks like it's a Red Bull. It might be Cam, who, if it is, he's also on a lap himself. It looks like it could very well be Cam. So Jonas now around the last couple of corners. This is a big lap for him. He's only going to be able to do this lap, I believe, unless he does a second flying lap. This could be his session over. So TNR Jonas, this is a huge lap for his season. Where's he going to put it up to? It's 7th. Oh, I've got to be honest. Unless he's going for another lap, which he looks like he's still pushing, so he'll be going for another lap. But he'll need to find a bit more than that because people are going to be putting in lap times left, right and centre. And I'm just trying to find out right now who is on a lap, see if I can catch anybody. Let's see Frankie. No, he's not really far into his lap. So we've got Tim Mats, who I think will be the first one to take the checkered flag. Checkered flag will be going out in just a couple of seconds. Everyone apart from Cam has the opportunity to improve potentially. Tim Mats currently in 9th place. Can he find something through his final sector? He does improve slightly, but he stays in 9th place. Prime Vizu pits, he's not going to improve. What's Juice up to? He's quite early on to the lap. I'm going to try and find someone who is pretty close to finishing their lap. If I can, I don't think I can, so I'm going to actually go with TNR Jonas, who... No, he's backed off, so he's not going to improve. So Juice then, I'm going to stay with him. We're going to follow anyone else, see if they improve. But it doesn't look like that many people are on laps. Juice is a couple of attempts up through the middle sector, so pole position's there for him if he can really find it for the last sector. You can see him fighting with the car. It looks a real handful through this final sector. Can he find the time? Let's see, Powdy puts it onto the front row in a 29.8. So that's a great effort from him, and that means Juice right now is off the front row of the grid. Unless he can find something extra. Juice around the final corner. What's he got? Is it enough for pole? It is! What a lap! He wrestled that car through the final sector and it paid off for him. Juice takes an unbelievable pole position. Game Freaker is invalidated. Hulkenberger moves up to 9th right at the death. And we've got Marvin, who I think's the only one left. I don't know if he's on a lap. No, he's not. So That's it. Juice is taken pole position just as it looked like Cam had potentially thrown a spanner in the works for him. Juice finds an unbelievable final sector to do a 129.4 to take pole position, with championship leader Jonis only managing 7th. And let's have a look then at the grid for the F7 US Grand Prix. Juice takes pole. We got Cam second, Powdy with a great effort, his best qualifying of the season, in 3rd. Patuka is 4th. We got Prime Vizu in 5th. Game Freaker is 6th. Jonis is 7th. Rowan 8th. Hulkenberger 9th. Tim Mats is 10th. Outside the top 10 we got Frunky 11th. Vapor King 12th. Shoib 13th. Norris 14th. Steph in 15th. And Marvin rounds off the grid. What a dramatic end to qualifying session, and exactly the tonic that Juice would have been hoping for. He'll look to take this forward into the race now. Cam a bit gutted about only getting 2nd, but nevertheless I think he should be very happy with that effort. And it took a spellbinding final sector from Juice to wrap it up right at the end. It looked for all the world like he was going to lose the car at some point, but held it together and found that time where he needed it the most. Jonis, well, only 7th for him. He's got some support in the stream. Is he going to be feeling the pressure, I wonder? I think he knows, he probably accepts the fact that Juice ultimately is a little bit quicker than him, certainly in raw pace terms. But with that 12-point advantage, he'll be looking to minimise the amount that Juice can gain on him here. He'll be hoping that Juice doesn't have a simple start here and that maybe Cam and Powdy can mix it with him. It's once again pretty overcast for the race. There's quite a few clouds, which should help with any tyre overheating issues. Maybe a bit cooler than it perhaps would have been. And I don't know if we have any rain forecast for later in the race. We didn't see many people going for medium tyres in qualifying, so either as an indicator or maybe people just didn't want to use them. Let's have a look then at starting tyres outside the top 10. So Frunky, who's starting 11th, has opted to start on the soft tyre, but everyone else behind him has opted for the medium to start. I'm surprised. I mean, I'm sure Steph was ahead of Marvin when I saw the qualifying classification, but nevertheless they've swapped round. It might be because Steph only joined partway through qualifying, I'm not too sure. My thoughts for the race. I think Juice is going to be very difficult to stop. We've seen already in F7 that he is just super quick. He's only done 6 races in the league and yet he's in championship contention, so that just shows how impressive he's been. So I feel unless someone can really mix it in with him at the start, he could pull away potentially, but it's, you know, there's a lot of fast drivers here. Jonis needs a good start. We know he's a very quick driver and maybe slightly out of position there, but all the drivers ahead of him, to be fair, have shown glimpses of what they can do. The biggest surprise, I'd say, from qualifying is Powdy up in 3rd, because he usually doesn't qualify all too well. So if he's managed to sort his qualifying out, he could be a huge threat. In terms of who will win, I'm inclined to say Juice, but at the same time I don't want to jinx anybody because I do have a habit of doing that. And you know, they might DM me later if I predicted them to win, if something's gone wrong. So I don't. I wouldn't want to say, but Juice is definitely for me the favourite here, just because of how much pace he's had. Like I say, he's only done 6 races in the league. He's in 2nd in the championship. He's won 4 out of those 6 races, finishing 2nd at one of the other ones. So there's no doubt about it. He's got to be the favourite, based on everything we've seen up to now and also the qualifying session itself. But this is one of those tracks where usually things happen. You know, there's plenty of overtaking spots. There's plenty of opportunities to do different things with strategy. So we'll see really over the course of the 28 laps who comes out on top as Juice lines up on his pole position slot. I really hope I can change that camera angle before we start. I'm sure I can. So will Jonis seal the title tonight, or are we going all the way to Brazil? Here we go, the lights illuminate, and when they go out, let battle commence. Here at the Circuit of the Americas, it looks like a pretty good start from Powdy, actually. Powdy's had a cracking start from the second row, and he's going to go up the inside for the lead. Juice leaves in the room, but stays around the outside. Looks like Juice has held on to that lead pretty well. Powdy up to second place with a lightning start. Patuka third. Cam all the way down to fourth. Looks like there's some contact further behind. Vapor King looks like he might have been involved. We've got Johnny's up to sixth. Powdy, though, with a lightning start and couldn't quite grab the lead. There's some cars going side by side further down. Also, that's Rowan and Tim Mats. Well, we're still going side by side with each other. That's incredible stuff there to keep going alongside each other. It didn't look possible, but Rowan keeps the place for now in 8th place. And it looks actually like all the drivers, at the exception of Vapor King, have made it through pretty safely through this opening sector. And Juice maintains the lead, but Powdy looking very aggressive off the start and clearly fancies his chances here, and you can see why. That was a lightning getaway and maybe could have got the lead. As we see further down, we got Cam is that under pressure from Prime Vizu, who's looking to take P4. Oh, and Cam fends him off for now. We've got Jonis and Game Freak are going side by side for 2 championship contenders, and Jonis now trying to sneak up the inside of Vizu. Is he going to take 2 in 1 there? Not quite. It looks like Jonis is going to manage to get Game Freaker, but he can't quite get the Haas. Although Game Freaker's still got his nose in there. Johnny's going for it down the inside. He's got to be careful with his front wing. He's clearly... Oh, Vizu's in the pit, so Vizu must have collected damage on the opening lap. Disaster for him. But Johnny's there, escaping contact minimally. And for a championship leader, he was definitely not taking things carefully there on the opening lap. Very great driving between all of them, in fact. But Juice is the one who's got away in the lead. And then you're looking at Powdy in second. And then it is just waiting for it to sort itself out here. It's Patuka in third, of course. Patuka in third, then Cam Jonis up now into 5th place. And unfortunately for Vizu, he must have had some sort of contact. Vapor King's managed to carry on, so his damage obviously either didn't pick any up or he's managed to carry on. But either way, Patuka coming under a bit of pressure from Cam, and look at that further behind. That's Rowan having a little bit of a look at Game Freaker, who hasn't had the most ideal of starts. It looks like he gained a few spots, but ultimately lost out in the battle with Jonis. And just ignore the gaps for now. They'll sort themselves out, hopefully by the end of this lap. But nevertheless, despite the early drama, Powdy wasn't able to get Juice, but he's sticking pretty close to him here, and the top 2 are starting to drop the cars behind. So Powdy looking pretty threatening at this stage of the race, but the fastest lap actually comes from Jonis himself, so he's clearly on the march here. And the top 2 are not the fastest cars out on the track at the moment, because Cam and Jonis are very much taking the fastest laps right now, but they are right behind Patuka, so this is going to be the next big battle. I think Cam looking at passing the Mercedes. We've got Tim Mats past Rowan, is that? Yeah, further down to Tim Mats up into 7th place. Rowan has lost that spot. He might have made a mistake somewhere, because I don't remember him being that far behind Game Freaker actually, so maybe a small mistake there by the AlphaTauri, and he's now got his teammate Frunky right behind him. Back to the battle then for P3. We've got Cam all over the back of the Mercedes, and surely this is a massive opportunity for Cam to grab 3rd place. He's going to the inside, got the DRS open. He's going to be using some of his DRS, I'm sure of it as well. And yet, pretty simple move in the end up the inside. And Game Freaker very close behind Jonis. I think Game Freaker will know, with himself being 3rd in the championship, 17 points behind the guy in front of him. He kind of needs to finish ahead of him here, no doubt about it, if he wants to keep his hopes going to Brazil. He'll know that. So he absolutely cannot afford to let the Williams drive away from him. But I tell you what, now that Cam has cleared that Mercedes, he's going to be starting to put the top 2 under significant pressure, I imagine, because right now he looks like the quickest driver on the circuit. He's already close up to the back of Powdy, who himself will have DRS assistance from the Alfa Romeo ahead. And what can Cam do here? I've got to say, qualifying, he clearly was devastated to finish second, which illustrates he's got a lot of confidence in the pace that he has. And we'll see now what he can do. We've got obviously a penalty there for Norris, who's down in 12th at the moment. And it looks like Prime Vizu and Hulkenberger have been the ones that have had to stop, so really unfortunate in the end for both of them, really, because Vizu especially, who's scored a lot of points in his first 3 races in F7. I think he's on 22 points after just 3 races, which is an incredible effort. And Cam not quite close enough to attack Powdy, who himself is just sticking with Juice. So we've seen in the past that Juice... Oh, we've got further behind, we've got Jonis taking 4th place from Patuka. Patuka's trying to fight back around the outside. Is he going to be able to hold it? No, he's not. So Jonis up into 4th place, and he's really starting to make some progress here. A rocky qualifying session for him, but he's come alive in the race. As we've got, I think there, Frankie getting past Rowan, and Rowan trying to fight back. So both AlphaTauri is definitely not taking it easy, and Rowan actually gets the place back. Oh, and look at that. Oh, Powdy's made a slight error. So is this the opportunity here? DRS open, overtake open as well. Cam sensing an opportunity here to get past the Renault into turn 1. Will Powdy fight this? Cam goes down the inside. Powdy trying to stick it around the outside. A bit of oversteer on exit for Cam, but that doesn't make any difference. He's past the Renault, and Cam is up to 2nd, and he is on an absolute mission here tonight. Great stuff from the Red Bull driver. And although Juice has got a little bit of a road, if Cam can keep up this sort of pace, he's going to be a big threat to the Alfa Romeo driver. Who knows, a win here would be huge going to Brazil next week. Get the feeling here that Patuka, who's started off so well in the race, he's starting to drop positions further back. He's now got Game Freaker right behind him, and is this going to be another position he loses? He's really starting to drop down the field, but he's not going to lose that position. Meanwhile, Rowan trying to attack Tim Mats, who's going very defensive there. Halfway down the straight, is Rowan going to be able to get the up and under on him? Not quite on this occasion. Tim Mats holds 7th place for now, but look at this Rowan going very unorthodox here. These corners do promote different lines, and Rowan trying to find every possible line to make a move stick. He's going to go right around the outside through this corner, and Tim Mats has gone. He's had a half spin. He's managed to collect it together, but he's lost a position to the other AlphaTauri as well. So I don't know if there was maybe slight contact between them there. I'd be surprised if there was, because there was plenty of space through that corner. But nevertheless, Tim Mats drops down to 9 because Game Freaker pits. And that's not for damage. He's deciding to make an early stop for medium tyres. That would suggest to me that Game Freaker's doing a 2-stop strategy. Maybe thinking that it's going to be difficult to beat Jonis otherwise, so maybe going for a slightly different strategy here. I think a 1-stop's more than possible, so Game Freaker deciding to call a pit stop early and see if he can get others to respond. And obviously in the clear air, just absolutely gun it now. So Game Freaker calling the shots here, and we'll see if it works out for him later on. But the top 2, I mean, Juice has responded to Cam's pace. He's not wilting at all, and Powdy's actually slipping back ever so slightly now, and into Jonis's path. And look here, Jonis down the inside of Powdy, and it's a pretty simple overtake in the end. Powdy didn't have anything to stop him, but Powdy trying to come back at him through his next corner, turn 13, but nowhere for him to go, and I think Powdy will slot him behind him. In fact, he nearly ran into the back of a Williams and had to take a void in action. So Powdy nearly losing his front wing there, did very well to avoid that, but he does slip down to 4th, and Jonis's great drive up from 7th on the grid continues. He's now in the top 3, and that's not what Juice will be wanting to see at all. Just to reiterate, of course, if Jonis wins a race and Juice finishes 3rd or lower, Jonis would be champion. And that's looking a lot more possible than it was after qualifying right now. Interestingly, nobody has responded to Game Freaker's early stop, so they're clearly not worried about what he's doing. They're just running their own race right now. Of course, the one situation where that will really help Game Freaker is if we get a safety car later on in proceedings. He'll definitely benefit then. So maybe Game Freaker realising that on outright pace he just wouldn't have enough against the others. So just trying something different here to try and keep his championship hopes alive. And we'll see how it pans out. But yeah, a safety car would really help him out. And looky at Cam, he's closer than he has been to Juice. This could be the opportunity he's been looking for to take the lead of a race. Is he going to go for it at the end of a straight into turn 12? He's looking, half looking at it. Juice leaves him enough room. I don't think Cam was really going for that, but he almost decided to go for it in the end because of a space Juice left him. But Juice trying to squeeze him out here. And he keeps the lead for now, but Cam looking very threatening behind them. And of course, the more these two battle, the more it allows Jonis to get right up there as well. And we've got Frunky and Tim Mats battling further behind. Just see all race, Tim Mats just battling with various Alpha Tauris. But Tim Mats takes 7th place. And he's now got Williams of Steph right there as well. And Marvin too, for that matter, as he goes side by side, continuing to go side by side up to the penultimate corner. But it looks like Tim Mats has finally got that position wrapped up. But for how long, I'm not too sure. And we've got Cam. Cam's going for the lead into turn 1, I believe that is. Yeah, it is. And Juice has to surrender the lead. So Cam tried down the back straight, didn't work, but he waited until the pit straight, and he's now into the lead of a race. So Cam now leads Juice down to 2nd, and he'll see his main championship rival right behind him now as well. This has not gone according to Juice's script, and all of a sudden he's looking under some severe pressure. Right now, good luck calling on who's going to win this one. I really don't know. Any one of his top 3 could win it. Powdy's sort of slipping back now. So these top 3 look like they've got the pace advantage over the rest right now. And I think Jonis will be partly gutted in a way that he didn't produce the qualifying lap he could have. Because if he could have started up there with these two, he really could have, well, been in the lead potentially by now with the pace he's showing. So, but nevertheless, he's fought through excellently, and these top 3 now just starting to pull away. Of course, if his results stayed as they are right now, which is pretty unlikely, we're only on end of lap 8, of course, we're coming on to lap 9 now. That would mean that Juice would have a 10-point lead over Jonis going to Brazil. Oh, sorry, Jonis would have a 10-point lead over Juice going to Brazil. I might have said that already. And that would, of course, also mean that Game Freaker and Powdy are completely out of the running. So it would be a 2-horse fight going to Brazil, and well, bets on who would get the better of it. Really, it's so tough to say. We know Brazil can really make things a lot more unpredictable. And we've got here what's happened in Sector 1. We've got Game Freaker past Norris. Was that an issue for Norris, I wonder? I think it might have been, you know. But Game Freaker moves up a place, but also picks up a penalty. That's not what he wants to do. Of course, we're getting now to that point where those who started on soft tyres will be getting to their pit stop window and thinking about making a stop. And I wouldn't be shocked here if we saw maybe Juice or Jonis pull the trigger early on Cam. Further down the field, we've got Steph making a move down the inside of Frunky. So Steph's having a great drive. The fastest running medium tyre person who started on them anyway. And Steph now up to 8th place after starting all the way at the back in 16th. So Steph having a great run here and really aiding Williams' constructors bid. Of course, they are second to McLaren right now. McLaren are not having a good race. And, well, interestingly, Powdy and Patuka both pits, but all the top 3 opt to stay out. Rowan's in the pits as well. What's happened to Frunky? I think a timing glitch there, perhaps. Oh, but look, he's right behind Vapor King. I think there has been a change in position, because I don't think Vapor King was in front. So, Frunky lost a place there to the Haas driver, and Frunky down to, well, what is 7th right now. And we've got Patuka. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Oh, we got Norris out of the race. We got a virtual safety car. We've got a virtual safety car. It doesn't really do anything for anybody because nobody's really near the pits. But Norris is out of the race. And his difficult start to his F7 career continues. I was just going to mention we got Pawtucket, Rowan and Timmats who pitted all on the hards. But Powdy, interestingly, has gone for mediums. Of course, this virtual safety car will do no harm at all for him. His cause of trying to get those to the end. But maybe Powdy on those medium tyres could have a bigger say of things. You can see just how much Game Freaker's undercut has paid off for him though. He's almost 8 seconds clear of Powdy. Although that'll probably reduce when the VSC comes in. But of course, Game Freak is surely going to have to make another stop, so it will be interesting how things work out. He wouldn't have minded a safety car right now. Well, actually, no, that wouldn't have really worked for him. What he needs is a safety car later on as Cam pits. Cam pits, Juice pits, and Johnny's pits, so they're all in the pits. All three of the championship contenders in the pit lane, and I'm assuming they're going to go for mediums. Well, we'll see. What do they go with? Cam goes for mediums. Not seen what Juice has gone for, but Johnny's has gone for mediums. Has Juice gone for softs? He has! Juice has gone for softs. I don't know if that's an error. That must be an error, surely. That's a massive blow for Juice if that's... Oh dear, that's not what he wanted at all. I'm absolutely certain he will not have wanted to go onto softs, as he has a massive moment there, pushing like his life depends on it. Like, his attempts, what he's got to do now is just go lightning quick on his soft tyres and make them work, because he's absolutely going to have to stop again. The only thing that would help him out is a safety car here, surely. I can absolutely imagine that's not what he intended to do. The undercuts worked out handsomely for Game Freaker. He's now technically the race leader once this all shakes out, but nevertheless, that can't have been what Juice intended. And that's a big blow for him, and that all of a sudden opens up the opportunity for Johnny's. No question about it here. I thought it'd be extremely unlikely that it would be crowning a champion tonight, but it's definitely not beyond the realms of possibility. As we've got Cam fighting with Shoaib as he tries to make his way through the... it's not traffic, because of course they are fighting for position, but here he goes down the inside into the penultimate corner, and that's a great move from Cam, and he moves back up into 5th place, and he's going to try and get Game Freaker soon as well. Juice straight into the back of Shoaib as well. And I'm absolutely certain Juice will not have intended to pit for softs. That must be a mistake, but Juice also makes his way past Shoaib down the outside into turn 1. In fact, he'd almost got the move done before they got there, which made that move a lot simpler. And we've got some different strategies at play now. Of course, we've got some that pitted early for hards. We've got a lot of people that pitted for mediums. We've got Game Freaker who went for a very early stop, suggesting he will go for a 2-stop. And then we've also got Juice now, who has run his second set of softs and will have to stop again. Absolutely certainly. And we've got Cam now right in the back of Game Freaker. Now, of course, for Game Freaker here, if he can hold these guys up, it kind of plays into his hands later on. So he'll absolutely not be wanting to let these drivers through. The problem for him is, of course, he's got Marvin and Vapor King battling just in front of him as well. So this is bunching them all up. And it'll help Jonas, who's only just managed to find his way past Shoaib. Cam going right to the outside. Juice! Oh, Juice has gone for it on the inside of Cam. That was a brave move. He took advantage of a different line, but it didn't work because Cam has made his way past Marvin and Juice is looking to follow him through. He's going to the outside. This is so dangerous here because being on the outside, you've got no real control over what the car on the inside does, but he's made the move stick. And these drivers are really trying to make their way through this pack as quickly as possible. Game Freaker now in the back of Vapor King. He's going to go for it into turn 1, which he absolutely has to do. Juice is going to... Cam's going to try and follow him through. Is he going to do it? Oh, he's been pushed off. He's been pushed off and now allows Juice alongside him here through his fast corners. This is surely going to end in tears for one of them. No, it's not. Juice goes all the way around the outside, and that is absolutely sensational. But it just shows what the traffic can do in these situations, because that would never have been an opportunity for Juice until that happened with Vapor King. And now Juice goes down the inside of a Haas car, and he is going to have to absolutely wing it now on those soft tyres. Thrash the life out of them to make this work for him. But he's got past Cam, and that's ultimately the crucial thing for his race, because he now needs to stretch away. He'll need to pass Game Freaker too, of course. Now, oh, and there's Jonas. Jonas making his move past Vapor King as well, but no, he didn't quite make it stick. Jonas, I think he's slightly struggling more than the others to get through the traffic. Maybe starting to think about a championship and not wanting to risk too much, but he needs to get on with this. The longer he spends behind these cars, the more time he's going to have to try and make up later on. And look here, Jonas then. Sure, he's going to have a great chance into turn one. Of course, the older mediums of Vapor King will be no match for Jonas's brand new set. He's going to use DRS. He doesn't even need to use overtake. He's alongside the Haas into turn one. I don't think Vapor King will fight it off too much, as we see in the background. Powdy making his way past Scheubman. We've got alongside each other here. Juice going for another brave move on Game Freaker, and Game Freaker has to lift off the throttle and accept defeat on that one. Juice is absolutely flying. And of course now, Juice and Game Freaker will effectively be on two-stop strategies, both of them here, so that's a crucial move for Juice, and he is really making the most of those soft tyres, as he knows he needs to do. This is going to be so interesting. We've got Juice and Game Freaker on the two-stop strategy for certain, and then we've got Cam and Jonas on the one-stop. These four are definitely the main contenders for the race. Powdy as well. And Jonas has made his way past Vapor King, as we know, and he's going to try and start to close in as well. Thing is, for Jonas, he really could do with getting past Cam, you would argue. As further down the field, we've got Vapor King trying to fend off Marvin. Of course, Steph is in the lead of this race at the moment. The person who actually started right at the back of the grid on medium tyres has done a superb opening stint of a race, and I tell you what, if they can stretch that out and have a good stint on softs, they could be looking at some good points here. Especially helps Jonas in the Constructors' Championship. Juice isn't exactly striding away from the cars behind him, though. Maybe to the extent that we would think he would. But he's now right on the back of Steph, and of course here, Steph could do his teammates a whole world of favours if he can hold these cars up even for a lap or two. So Steph here could be playing the team game here, and might be looking to hold up these drivers for the help of his teammate. We'll find out, of course, now, but I don't think he's going to have much to say in this scrap. Juice has obviously just got so much fresher tyres, and he's right up behind the Williams driver already. I think this is going to be pretty much a done deal before you know it. Juice has got the DRS open, uses a little bit of overtake. I don't think he needs to use any more than that. Steph does go defensive, so he's obviously keen to try and hold them up, but he's got no answer for Juice's pace, and he takes the lead of the race back again. But I'll keep reiterating it, he has to stop again. So this isn't your traditional Juice gets into the lead and drives off show. This is very much going to be a question of who's called it right with strategy. And do we have any extenuating factors? Do we have any virtual safety cars or full safety cars to come? As Game Freaker now looks, try and make the move stick to. And Game Freaker makes his second pit stop. So Game Freaker's pitting now. And we'll go on, I believe, I'm guessing, another set of medium tyres to the end. He obviously doesn't want to be stuck in traffic. That's obviously his concern. And we've got yellow flag in sector 3. Is that Vapor King who's had an issue? I'm going to try and see if I can find him. Not too sure on that one. Game Freaker, after his second pit stop, falls down into P13. just behind Frankie, so he's got a lot of work to do from their Game Freaker, and I'm not sure how well that strategy ultimately is going to work out for him. I think unless a lot of things happen from here, I think we are looking at it being Jonis versus Juice here for the F7 title. It looks to me like Game Freaker and Powdy's hopes may well be coming to an end here tonight, as Cam makes his move on Steph and back up into second place. He's having an excellent race, and right now I'd say he's looking very much in pole position for the win here tonight. Johnny's, I think, struggling a little bit for outright pace in this stint. He doesn't look like he's got things exactly how he would want them. He's not closing in on cars, especially cars that have been out for several laps, quickly as you may have hoped. Of course, his teammate is the car in front of him, so I don't think for 1 second that Steph is going to make it difficult on his teammate. I don't think he has any reason to. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he just clean pulls out of the way. So that's one less obstacle in his way. We've got Patuka right behind Marvin here. Powdy's made his way past Marvin. Powdy having a good race, but just not quite got the outright pace of those in front of him. The likes of Juice and Cam, and even Jonis. So, we're still looking at a good haul of points here, Powdy, if he can keep this up. Game Freaker just trying to make his way through the cars as quickly as possible. He's already got ahead of Frankie, and he's right into the back of Tim Mats now as well. We'll go on board with Game Freaker now, actually. He'll be looking to make these moves as quickly as possible. He knows there's no time to lose if he wants to win this race. I'm actually going to quickly look as well what the gap is to the leader for Game Freaker. Just sort of have a look. Obviously the pit lane loss here is around 18.5 seconds. So based off of that, oh, and we've got a few changes. Oh, Jonis has got past Steph, no doubt. That'll be a very simple move for him. We've got Game Freaker now making his way past Tim Matson back up into the points paying positions. But yeah, Juice will have to stop again, so he's going to have quite a... He's probably going to come out around where Game Freaker is, the rate he's going, maybe just behind him. So, not looking too great for these two at the moment. And Juice pits. So this is a crucial thing now. Juice pits. As I mentioned, I don't think the soft tyres work terribly well here. So I suspect Juice will put on a set of mediums now to the end. And where's he going to rejoin? Yep, set of mediums for the Alfa Romeo driver. He's released from the pits. I guessed he'd be out around Game Freaker. Is that sort of accurate? We're about to find out. You see Game Freaker there? Yeah, he's actually right with Game Freaker. So I called that absolutely right. And he's just... In fact, he's just in front of him, is he? Oh, there's a bit of contact between them. This is personal because they know how crucial this is for their championship bid. But Juice is just in front. And I get the feeling right there, Game Freaker's heart will have sank just a little bit. Because he'll know now that's a massive blow for him. But look at the amount of time they're going to have to gain. I don't think we're going to see another pit stop from those out front. And they've got quite a lot of time to try and make up here. The absolute critical thing now is Jonis and Cam. For Juice's sake, he'll be absolutely hoping that Cam stays in front. He's got a 2-second lead at the moment, but of course penalties could very much play a part in it. I'm not going to look at what the penalties are. Obviously I'll see a few flash at the bottom of the screen, but I ain't going to look at exactly what the situation is in that one. We'll just have to wait and see come the end of the race. And we've now got Juice here right behind Rowan. Of course, this is really for position now because these drivers are staying out to the end of a race. So this is very much for position. There's no pit stops in hand here. This is all about actual position. So this should make moves a bit more difficult here because I imagine we'll see a lot of defends from some of these guys. Here comes Juice past Rowan. No, Rowan doesn't make it overly difficult. And down the inside goes the Alfa Romeo. And Juice back up into 5th place. And he'll be absolutely pushing like crazy to try and get after the race leaders. looking at it at the moment, I have to say, the highest I see Juice getting is third. And of course, if Jonis wins, that's enough for him. Oh, and in fact, there's a little mistake there from Rowan, and that allows Game Freaker to make a move too. So here comes Game Freaker down the inside, and he does it into turn 11 before we even get to the DRS straight. And Game Freaker is up into 6th place as Steph, now on the soft tyres after pitting. For their one and only stop is just making his way past Frunky and up into 9th place. So Steph looking at a good haul of points here. And he's now looking that he wants to get past Tim Mats as well. So Steph really on the march and up into 8th. I thought there might be a threat for some points here, and they're definitely proving that. Just having a look really at a sort of time loss. I mean, Juice is quickly closing in, I have to say. I'm just going to keep an eye of a gap to the leader now. So yeah, Juice is just under 16 seconds away from the race leader, but I have to say Jonis is having absolutely no impact on Cam right now. The gap kind of stabilising. If anything, it's slightly going up. But Juice is absolutely flying. But Steph has just nicked that fastest lap point. And of course, that fastest lap point will be another crucial factor here. In fact, Marvin's now taking that away, so I don't think Juice is going to be able to get a fastest lap here. Which plays even more into the hands of Jonis. Oh, and that's a massive sideways moment there. You can see just how much Juice is pushing here. He knows that his championship could be fading here. Is that a bit of rain I just saw? Just trying to get a better view if I can. I'm going to try and stay on board just for a few corners. I might be seeing things here. But I wonder if that's why. Well, it would explain potentially as to why Juice went on softs again, if it wasn't a mistake, of course. As Steph makes his way comfortably past Rowan, and Steph continues his fine drive up now into 7th place, and his next target will be Game Freaker in 6th. So that's going to be quite an interesting one. Patuka's right on the back of Powdy as well. To say he's on the hard compound tyres compared to Powdy's mediums, Patuka is really taking the fight here to the Renault driver, and of course the more these two fight, the more it helps Juice close in on them. So this is going to be an interesting scrap here, and Patuka may potentially have a chance down into turn 1, but I don't think he's close enough on this occasion. We're on lap 21 here of 28 here at Austin, the penultimate round of a PSGL F7 season. Like I said, Jonis can seal the title tonight, but as it stands, he will go to Brazil if things stay as they are right now, I believe. I will just check my championship permutations on that one. Let's have a look. Actually, no, if things stayed exactly as they are now, Jonis would be champion. But if Juice gains another position, though, which is very, very likely, then that, of course, would put Juice back in contention to take it to Brazil. But, yeah, if things stayed as they are right now, Jonis would be your champion. But you can see he's quickly gaining on those in front of him. Steph, though, is absolutely charging. He's now right behind Game Freaker as well. Game Freaker, I think, is kind of realizes right now that he isn't doing enough. Steph just taking it very carefully, knows he's on the fresher, softer tyres, and can sort of just pick his moment really. Jonis has dropped down to 3 seconds behind, and that could be crucial, because if come the end of a race Cam has one more penalty, then Jonis would only need to be within 3 seconds to take it back. But right now he's dropping back from that 3 second margin. So that 3 second margin is one to keep an eye on there if penalties do come into equation. As Steph goes down the inside to turn 1, that's a pretty simple move, and Steph is absolutely flying up to 6th place now. Got to say, this is a really strong performance. It can sometimes throw you joining a session midway through qualifying, but it just seems to have given Steph a new lease of life here. We've got yellow flag in sectors 1 and 2. Looks like we've got It's Juice! Juice has gone round! What's happened there? Juice has gone off the track! Oh, and that's a big blow for him! I don't believe it! A rare mistake from the real star of F7. Juice, and he has thrown away. Oh, and that could potentially mean that Jonas is about to seal the championship. That mistake from Juice has changed everything. I don't think he was close to it, as we just see here Powdy as well. He's about to be overtaken by Tucker and has been. So that's a change for the final podium position. I don't think he was close enough to the top, to those two, for it to be contact with them. I think it might have just been a mistake on his own accord. But nevertheless, that potentially has wrapped up the title unless Juice can pull the mammoth of all comebacks, or we see a mistake from Jonas. Of course, will Jonas know what's happened to Juice? He may not know. But yes, if things stay as they are right now, which is a lot more likely now than it was a few laps ago, Jonas is in pole position to take the championship. And I think as well, with the current standings, Frunky's out of the race. Frunky is out of the race. We've got a yellow flag and sets free. Is that going to be a safety car? No, I think Frunky has retired in the pits. So big blow for him. That's a real shame. It was great to... Oh no, we have got a virtual safety car. But I don't think that does much for the race. Juice has passed Rowan up to 7th. But he's going to need to find more positions than that. So we have got a virtual safety car out then. I wonder if Frunky might have actually crashed on the exit of the final corner rather than in the pit lane. I didn't quite catch it, unfortunately. Real shame for him though. It's been good to have him back for tonight's race, and he's showed at times, but he's still got some very good pace. But ultimately his race has ended in disappointment as Hulk has retired in the pits. That is no doubt about it. Hulkenberger has retired in the pits. It's been a disappointing session for him. And we've got a driver penalty for Schoib for speeding under the virtual safety car. Of course, any penalties you get for speeding under VSC could be crucial. Schoib currently 11th, so he's not in the points as it stands anyway. I don't know if that's the same penalty or if that's another one. But we are back underway here. And Jonas right now knows that he is in the position here to wrap up the title tonight. I tell you what, I wouldn't rule out a double Williams podium the rate this is going, because look at Steph. He's now right in the back of Powdy as well. So Steph and the other Williams is absolutely charging. We've got yellow flag in sectors 1 and 2. We've got a McLaren round. Oh, I think that's not Hulkenberger, sorry. I thought Game Freak have had an issue or something, but no, it's just Hulkenberger's car again. And Steph still behind Powdy, but looking like he's desperate to make a move. And Jonas is back within that 3-second window of Cam again. But of course now with Juice dropping down to 7 following that error, it's all of a sudden swung back in a Williams' favour. Oh, look how much... Looks like Powdy really struggling for grip there. And I've got to say that this is just looking like a matter of when and not if. And I think when, the answer to that could be down this straight, because I don't think Steph is going to want to hang around anymore. Powdy tries to go defensive, but there's nothing that he can do, and Steph moves up to P4. What a drive this is turning into from the back of a grid. Up to 4th place. That's a stellar effort, I have to say. When it comes to voting driver of the day after this, Steph is definitely going to be in my thinking. And I tell you what, with the massive haul of points that Williams are due to bring home with them following this race, the fight is very much on for the constructors too, between them and McLaren, and they may even be leading going into the final round. I can't confirm that, but yeah, Williams potentially looking at a double title win by the end of the season, and they could be wrapping one of us up tonight, because as it stands, Jonas is the F7 champion, but there is still a few laps to go, and we've already seen tonight anything can happen. We've got Game Freaker coming down the inside of Powdy, and that's a simple move in the end for Game Freaker. But Powdy, desperate to try and get the place back, he's going to try and fight back, but he's going to run out of room. Game Freaker up to 5th, and these two probably know now that their championship is over, but still giving it everything, and it has been good seasons for the pair of them, certainly very positive. Game Freaker's had 2 wins to his name this season. Powdy himself hasn't actually had a win, but he has had 3 third places and 2 fourth places. So Powdy really has been one of the most consistent drivers on the grid. And And look at Steph now, right on the back of Patuka. This has been a sensational soft tyre stint from him. We have got gaps now emerging throughout the field. Juice probably quite forlornly is aware now of what the situation is. But I think regardless, Juice, you know, this is only his 7th race of the season. You know, we've had 13 races in total. And for Juice to even be in the championship picture after only that amount of races, I think he deserves a lot of credit, and he should be very proud of what he's achieved. And based on this season, he'll be a big threat in whatever league he's in next season. Because there's no doubt about it, he's got a lot of pace, a lot of class. And even despite today's disappointment, he should be very proud of himself going forward into next season. And he'll be looking, even now, just to fight for a few more positions in his final few laps. Jonas has backed off Cam a little bit. I don't know if that's him knowing the situation or if that's just Cam pulling away. I have to say a word on Cam. He's driven an absolutely stellar effort. Shoaib is disqualified from the race. That's utterly bizarre. I don't know if that must be for corner quitting penalties, I'd assume. Oh no, of course he got a drive-through penalty. Maybe he didn't serve it. So yeah, he must have not served a drive-through penalty, and that's ultimately why he's got disqualified. So Shoaib, as race ends in quite confusing, bizarre fashion. And we are now, of course, on the third to last lap here. As look at this, Steph making the move on Patuka. It's been a stunning drive from Steph, and he's into the podium positions. And we'll have to see how it shakes out with penalties, but right now he's looking at a podium. Juice is up to 6th place past Powdy. How does he not know he has a penalty? I'm not too sure, to be honest. Bit of a bizarre one, really. We saw it came up, but he got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC, so one of those things, I guess. I mean, he wasn't in the points, so it hasn't really affected him too much. But nevertheless, that's brought a premature end to his evening. We are on the penultimate lap of the race here. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Jonas is just simply bringing this home now. Of course, if Juice wants to stop Jonas winning the championship, he needs to finish in the top 4. That's not looking very likely, I have to say. Penalties may help him, but it's going to be tight. If Juice can keep up the pace he's got, though, oh, this could be closer than I think, you know. Fastest lap point, I don't believe is going to either of them. I'll just double check just in case. Nope, that's Hulkenberg, did a 1:32. There's no way that's going to get beaten now by any of these, so with the state of their tyres. So yeah, ultimately fastest lap point is irrelevant now. It's all about what will happen here in these latter stages of the race. And Juice, can he somehow squeak into the top 4 to keep the championship going to Brazil? This is a dramatic end to the race. Obviously, not knowing the penalty situation, I think, just makes it even better. So we're very much going to have to wait till the end to see if we are crowning a champion tonight. As we see here further down, we've got, that's Marvin and Rowan going at it, and Marvin on those fresher soft tyres taking 8th place. And this will be a very rare points scoring finish for Marvin. He's only got 5 points to his name this season. So a much needed boost for him here tonight, and I have to say it's been a solid effort from him. He's actually outclassed his teammate Tim Matz, who of course has been the star man at Ferrari all season. And we're on to the final lap now, and I'm actually going to go on board with Jonas for this final lap because I want to see the potential champion. We don't know yet for sure because of how it all shakes out at the end, but he could be a potential champion, and I get the feeling he's just taking it very easily now. He's probably recognised that Cam, who has driven a sensational race, is just going to be too strong for him, but that's not what he's going to be worried about. In terms of his season as a whole, Jonas has only 1 win to his name, it's worth pointing out, but he has, if he gets second here tonight, 6 second places to his name. So he's been uber consistent near the front of the grid, front of the field, even if he's only got that 1 win. And that ultimately has been the contributing factor to his campaign. Oh, I tell you what, it's going to be really close between Juice and some others. especially when you put penalties into the equation. But Jonas, all he can take care of is what he's doing right now. Around the last couple of corners, I'm actually going to switch to Cam, because he just definitely deserves some airtime. Cam comes around the final corner. It's been a fantastic effort from him, and he wins the PSGL F7 US Grand Prix. Jonas is going to come across the line to take second place. No, he doesn't. He wins because of Cam's penalties. Jonas wins, and surely that means that he's going to win the championship. Here we go then. This is what he's going to line up then. So Jonas wins, Cam second, Game Freaker third, Juice gets fourth, but it's not enough. It's not enough because Jonas has taken a win on penalties ahead of Cam. I don't believe it. Steph is fifth, Patuka sixth, Powdy seventh, Tim that's eighth, Rowan ninth, Marvin takes 10th. And wow, I didn't realise Cam had so many penalties. Cam just confirmed it now, too many penalties, and because of that, TNR Jonas is your PSGL F7 Season 26 champion. Congratulations to him, only his second win of a season, but what dramatic circumstances to do it, and he should be very happy. Game Freaker took the final spot on the podium as well, due to the penalty situation. There you go, on the celebrating on the top step of the podium. That's the way he would have liked to do it. Jonas is the champion. If you want to stick around as well, I will try and get him involved in the party to speak to him, get a few words from him, because I'm sure he'll be absolutely over the moon. And wow, what dramatic circumstances to do it. Jonas himself didn't have any penalties. That's a stunning effort. And Cam had 9 seconds worth of penalties, so that was the difference in the end. Juice, if Jonas had stayed second, Juice's fourth place would have been enough to take it to Brazil, but oh wow, Jonas has got it. Congratulations to him, and well done indeed. Quick classification of the results: Jonas first, Cam second, Game Freaker third, Juice fourth, Steph fifth, Patuka sixth, Powdy seventh, Tim I say Vapor King ninth. Rowan actually gets the final points, and Marvin doesn't score points even today, which I'm sure he'll be gutted about. Prime Vizu takes 12th, and we got Hulk, Frunky, Norris and Shoib, who didn't finish the race. Wow, wow, wow. Absolutely astonishing. And I cannot wait to get a few words with our championship winner. Hopefully he's okay to talk to us. But yeah, we're not going to Brazil to find out a champion. Jonas has done it tonight. Let's quickly go and see if we can speak to him. Thank you as always for the massive support you guys have shown as well on the stream this season. We will of course be back for Brazil next week, but the championship winner has been decided. And I'm just going to try and add our title winner to the stream now. Hopefully I can find him very quickly here. Right, so we're back here then. Just waiting hopefully to hear from our championship winner. I don't know if he knows his championship winner yet. That could be another interesting thing if I'm about the one who's about to reveal it to him. But nevertheless, it's been an absolutely brilliant season from him. And I'm looking forward hopefully to hearing his thoughts on the race tonight, which was as dramatic as ever. Even more dramatic than I expected. Quickly in terms of my driver of the day, I know he didn't get a podium in the end, but I am going to give it to TNR Steph. From the back of a grid up to 4th, I thought they drove an astonishing race. And fully deserving of that, and actually doing a great favour for his teammate now, as Williams actually look in the pole position to seal the Constructors title as well. So it's a really double celebration for the Williams team this evening. And I'll give it a minute to see if we can get TNR Jonas involved. Obviously, this new party chat system on PlayStation does not make it easy, I have to admit, but we'll try it nevertheless to try and speak to him. But yeah, anyway, regardless, it's been quite the season. Obviously, we had Larkin and Leon dominating in the early stages, and then of course they were promoted up to F5. But since then, Jonis for me has been the most consistent driver, and he is now in the party chat. So just make sure, as always, that your voice is set to always share, just so he can hear you on the stream. And other than that, that's all good. So I'm guessing you already know, but congratulations, you are the PSGL F7 Season 26 champion. Just sum up how that feels.
It's really good. My goal today was really to fight for second position, because that's what this has been about the last couple of races, and minimize the distance to Juice. And he was unfortunate today, and then I knew that I could fight for the win actually, and I saw that the guy in front of me had a lot of penalties, so it was just about managing the tire limits. And yeah, really happy. It's been it was quite a slow start to the season, and I'm really happy to pick up the pace out towards the season. And yeah, and big respect to both Juice, Game Freaker, Body, yeah, and everyone who's been up there with fighting for the championship.
And you were the only one, of course, who had no penalties come the end of a race as well. How difficult was that to avoid penalties tonight?
It's always difficult, but I think it's probably one of my biggest strengths is to manage my car within tire limits. I could probably push a bit more. That's probably something I should do, but I tend to really not pile up too many penalties. So yeah, it was just trying to do that today as well, and it worked out. It's obviously a hard track to do it at, but yeah, very happy about it.
And it must be a good thing for the nerves that you've got it wrapped up before we go to Brazil next week.
Yeah, it's really good. Now I can have more of a approach thinking about the constructors, because I think we're actually level on points with McLaren after this one, so hopefully that'll be a good race or a good fight for the last round.
Yeah, just a quick word on your teammate actually. He actually won my driver of the day for his performance here tonight. How impressed were you with his comeback drive as well?
Yeah, it was a very good drive. He competed in an event for TNR, so he came late to the qualifying. So he wasn't able to get a lap in and therefore start at the back, and he showed incredible pace, and I'm really happy about him. He's been very unlucky this season. He should have been up here fighting for the championship as well. He really got the pace for it, but yeah, he's been unfortunate and done a couple of mistakes that put him out of the championship.
And obviously you've had a very successful season, 2 wins and 5 second places to your name. Just how highly does this rank in your racing career, this moment?
It's up there, you know. I'm not really used to winning championship. I think it's my second real one that I would give myself, and yeah, it's up there. Obviously, I was up there fighting in F4 and F3 last season. No, F5 and F3. But obviously, the competition is way higher this year, so I think the competition in this field is quite the same as it was in at least F5 last season, and maybe even F3.
Absolutely, and I guess just finally, obviously no championship pressure on it as such, but how confident are you going into Brazil?
I wouldn't say that, or it depends on what the goal is. I'm confident that myself and Steph can put up a good fight for the constructors, but that'll be the main focus into that. It'll be a team game and not an individual game, which has been in many ways until today.
All right, and yeah, once again, congratulations on the win, and more importantly, the championship.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, and big thanks to you in the commentary booth for the entire season as well. It's been a pleasure watching back the races with brilliant commentary, so I really appreciate that as well.
Thank you very much, and yeah, no problem. I'll be here as always for Brazil, and we'll be focusing very much on the constructors' fight between Williams and McLaren going into that one. It should be a cracking finale. That is about all from me for this evening. I hope you've all enjoyed it. It's been a great evening's worth of racing. And until Brazil next week, I'll catch you on the flip side. Good night, everybody.